We do want to talk about the big news that is a follow-up to what we kind of ended yesterday's hour with, which is the ruling regarding temporary protected status. Really, probably 30 minutes after we ended this program yesterday is when that Supreme Court ruling came down that does allow the Trump administration to end temporary protected status. And we talk about that because of Springfield and its whole role in this, because if you followed any part of the 2024 presidential election, you know that Springfield was thrust into the spotlight due to unfounded claims that were then amplified by the now president and vice president, claiming that Haitian immigrants in Springfield were eating pets. There are roughly 12 to 15,000 Haitian immigrants in Springfield right now on temporary protected status. A lot of people, including Governor Mike DeWine, have looked at the placement of the Haitian immigrants in Springfield as a big benefit to that community in terms of job growth and tax base.
They contribute a lot to the community there. If you've been to Springfield, I think you went down there, covered this a lot.
I was there after when that whole controversy swelled up. I was down there every bit of 3 or 4 days a week.
So interesting perspective. I was there well before any of that happened in Dayton, and you did see how they contributed to the city there. And so when all of that started happening and President Trump came out with that statement, it was kind of like, well, everyone who lives in that area is aware of the community that's there in Springfield.
Yeah, right. And we did see this, at least when I was there, this dissension of people who were not from Springfield, who were there to really stir things. They were there to kind of whip things up. Like, yes, there are people in Springfield who are not happy with this, who are not happy with the influx of this population, but they are not as outwardly spoken as we saw. We saw a lot of people who were not even from Ohio showing up in this town, 30,000 people, to cause problems and create discourse and clog up services that were ongoing.
It's like that mob mentality. People start hearing things and they want to join in and be a part of it. But Rochelle Aline, our investigative reporter here at 10 TV, she's also been covering this extensively. And she was down in Springfield yesterday with a group of people as they were watching the Supreme Court blog and really watching this news come in real time. Take a listen to the story.
Vilas Dorsonville is a master's student and community organizer. And as of early Thursday morning, the Haitian native was also a TPS recipient. But after a U.S. Supreme Court ruling came down, allowing the Trump administration to enforce the program's expiration date, he can only really be described as shocked.
I was expecting that the Supreme Court or the court system would uphold justice and human dignity.
And scared.
But at some point in time in Haiti, you had to choose between your life or death because you're exposed to kidnappings, to torture.
Thursday's SCOTUS decision on this matter came down to a 6-3 vote. One of the provisions that justices disagreed on was whether or not the Trump administration's decision to end the program for Haitians was racially motivated. And the prevailing decision was that it was not. What is your reaction to that?
If this is not discrimination and racism, I don't know what that is.
That was Rochelle Aline reporting for us in Springfield. So there was a big community reaction. Obviously, as we said, there's a large population of Haitian immigrants that reside in Springfield. And they gathered outside of City Hall there and protested peacefully.
Yeah. And we'll go ahead and go to Libby Cathy right now, and then we'll kind of talk about some of the what happens next.
Let me get that pulled up.
Know how tomorrow will be. Just rely on God's rescue.
Obed Lafai has been building a life in Springfield with his family and 3 kids for the past 2 years.
So I'm very concerned about them.
Et nous affecté très fort à une telle décision.
And we are very affected by this decision.
He was among hundreds gathered here tonight after the Supreme Court allowed the Trump administration to move forward with ending temporary protected status for thousands of Haitians and Syrians living in the U.S. About 12,000 Haitians under TPS live here in central Ohio, including Obed.
Haïti poco safe pour nous retourner.
Haiti is not yet safe for us to return there.
While Obed speaks English, he chose to do our interview in Creole, describing the uncertainty his family now faces. The president of the Springfield Haitian Community Help and Support Center says the High Court's ruling
puts every family in a very bad situation, asking questions that we cannot answer.
Elle Millender works here with Haitian families and says she's worried for what comes next.
I think Springfield will be left in shambles because the Haitian families that I work with, they want to work. They're working jobs that Americans don't want to work.
Not everyone here agreed. A handful of protesters told me they support the court's decision and President Trump's immigration policies. But local pastor Carl Ruby says this policy goes too far.
I can support the president and what he has done to deport the worst of the worst, but Haitians are the best of the best in our community. And we can't support that, and we won't support it.
So a lot of people showed up to that event last night.
Right. And I think the big question that still exists out there is what's next?
How is this implemented?
Exactly. So
physically.
The question that we've posed both to Dr. Carl Ruby, the pastor of Central Christian, who has been a big community resource advocate / he's
been a center point for that community.
Right, between
absolutely.
a connection between the Haitian community and everybody else
in Springfield.
And then also we posed this question yesterday to Viles Dorsonville, who you heard from Rochelle as well, that nobody knows, because we posed the question of like, okay, so do these folks now have to get their own tickets? Is the government putting them on planes? Like, how is this going to work? That hasn't been really ironed out yet. We did hear from Senator Bernie Moreno. Bernie Moreno obviously standing with the Trump administration's decision on this. He yesterday in a news conference said temporary protected status was going to end. It was never intended to be permanent. It was always temporary. Everyone knew there was a date, so we shouldn't have a surge of force in there to forcibly deport people who knew for a long time that this was going to have to do this on their own. So basically saying they're going to have to self-deport. And yesterday, in some of his conversations, he said that he does expect people to kind of start self-deporting themselves.
And then that transitions into our conversation we had yesterday with Viles, because we asked him point blank, what do these Haitians here in Springfield, what do they want to do? Do they want to be here?
Right.
Do they want to go home? Is it safe? What do they know?
So,
and his response was, a personal response.
So why the Haitian communities here is it all goes back to TPS that was formed in 1990 as part of an immigration act that allows people in certain countries that are facing, excessive circumstances, whether that be natural disasters, times of war, political unrest, to seek protected status here in the United States. Many of us remember the images from the Haiti earthquake in 2010.
Horrible.
That decimated that island.
I mean, it's reminding me of what's happening in Venezuela right now, just the destruction.
After the earthquake, we really saw the Haitian government collapse.
Right.
We had so much unrest that came out of this, so much violence.
And
crime. That's why this TPS, this temporary protected status, has gone on now for 16 years.
Right.
And as we mentioned, we asked Viles straight up, like, is it safe to go back? And this was a consensus. Yeah, do you want to? And this was the consensus of the group of Haitians during a focus group.
Haitian also attached to the country. So we are here. Haitian also attached to the country. So we are here just for safety reason and to continue to work to find a better opportunity. But many of us would be willing to get back home if the country was going back on track.
So, right, as he mentioned there, he's like, we're not here home because we want to be. I mean, yes, they're happy to be here.
It's for safety purposes, but they want to be home.
They want to be home.
They want to be back in Haiti.
So it is creating some tension. I guess maybe some unease would be the correct word for that.
We definitely will keep watching this as it unfolds, and we kind of maybe learn more details about implementation of this. Right. So a lot to come in the next, I would say, couple weeks with
right.
that.
Yeah, this is going to be something that I'm sure we'll have somebody down there again again today. So we'll have more follow up on that coming up at 4, 5, and 6 here on 10 TV.
Absolutely.